Dummy switch pod. The boys are back. How are you, Chris?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Quarters. Hey, Bok week. So you gotta be excited, man. Gotta be excited. Yeah. How are you doing, bro?
Good myself, good myself. Dan Carter's of podcasting here to give you our rugby opinions, our takes,
Uh-huh.
and of course share your opinions and your takes. Like you said, it's Bok Week, and we know Bok Week it brings about all the discussion. But
Yeah.
something tells me we're not. It's a team I don't think many will complain about, but we'll get to that. Church
Yeah.
announcements can find us here, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all the socials. And yeah, almost on 500 subscribers. Let's get the subscribers up, the likes, the
Yeah.
comments.
Let's engage. Let's engage.
Yeah, news of the week, and that exactly to start the week on a Monday.
Yeah.
Normally, they do us the favor of announcing on a Tuesday. But yeah,
Yeah.
they gave us an extra day this time.
Yeah. But I mean, like we said, they'll throw some. There'll be some surprises.
Yeah,
And the surprise was the early announcement, I guess. But yeah, looking at the team, I think it's more or less it's like sort of what you expected, you know,
yeah,
and with guys that have previously had success against Australia on this leg in South Africa. I mean, if you look at it,
yeah.
there's guys that have, yeah. So it's settled, I think it's a solid team. You get to see your Estes and Krill that you called for, or you
Yeah, let's
said, maybe you'll see that. And
before we get into that,
mm,
can I just read off the team now? We've got Ox,
yeah,
Premier Loosehead for the box.
yeah,
Um Malcolm
mm,
Marx, him and Bongi. I think Marx is probably on better form. We've got Volko Low coming in there.
yeah,
Itzebeth, Luert, Marco van Staden at six, Peter Steff at
mm,
seven, Sia playing eight, which is one of the talking points.
yeah,
Williams looks like our number one
mm,
nine. You've got Manie, Arendse, Esther Hazen, Creel, Edwell, Fasi. On the bench, you've got experience in Mbonambi. Then you've got Vessels there who did
yeah,
have a good tour of Australia last season. And then you've got in Klabakanya again, two young guys
yeah,
with the experience of Bongi. Then you've got Mostert,
mhm.
the talk about Nokia replacing him, but still around. Kwaka, Reina,
Still around, yeah.
Moody, Willemse. So, I mean, for me,
Mm,
talking points off the bat, Sia at eight. Uh, it
yes,
looks like they had tried Visa, the other Visa, but maybe
yeah,
not as satisfactory with the results that they wanted. So now they've got Sia at eight,
yeah,
Van Staden at six. Other talking points: Esther Hazen and Creel partnership. It will start. Like I said, the two young props, the guys that went on the pilgrimage to the farm, both of them on the bench, and then obviously not many times where you'll see us have three backs in the bench like this with Reinach, Moody, and Willemse. But they have noted
yeah,
that depending on Australia's team, they might change the thing and put RG in the bench.
yeah. You see, so I mean, again, it just shows. I mean, not set in stone, and things can happen. Guys pulling out, and like you said, and like they said, depending on the
Yeah.
team Australia puts out. But I mean, yeah, see at eight, I think, yeah, yes, they put in the other visa. I think they saw what they needed to see. I also think they also trying to look at a different option
Yeah.
of Sia, like they did say, Australia, the threats on the ground and having fun starting there, but you also want your captain as well,
Yes, because
and
they,
he can also,
like you said, they trying to combat Australia on the ground, and they've
yeah,
noted that Sia is going to play eight only at scrums. I don't know
mm,
what that means. In terms of gameplay, I don't know. In terms of
yeah,
positioning, they're probably going to have for something like kick receipts or something. They're probably going to have someone else do that.
yeah, yeah. So maybe it will be Peter Steph, playing that role, of eight, or maybe they'll interchange. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see because I mean, yeah, it seems like the focus is really going to be about the breakdown, which I think in any case with that incoming series as well, it was one of the issues that we're
Yeah,
pointing out that yes, they got better at managing the breakdown. So I think yeah, really there it's about securing your ball, and I think you'll get that with Van Staden and Kolisi together, and then Peter Step maybe having that more of a free roaming role. Just a different picture instead of your 8, you got your 17. That so it'll be interesting to see how that develops, But other than that, you expect a top performance from this pack, from the starting pack. Really, when you look at it,
yeah,
yes, Australia, maybe they played 2 weeks ago in the box. It's been a while, but I think yeah, we should go in there, hit the ground running, and I think the selection just shows exactly how serious they take Australia. I think because the Australia did show that improvement in the Lions series, from
yeah.
game one up until game three, So, and if you're off your game, they can take the opportunities, especially if they get the momentum. So, I think yeah, this pack it's business,
Is this our
it's
strongest pack?
business.
Because is this our strongest pack? Because obviously barring injury, because
Yeah,
that's the main thing. Volkolo is coming in obviously because of injury.
yeah,
Luat, he may have reclaimed his place. He may have been the injured player that's coming back. And then you look at
yeah.
obviously Siya's had to move to number 8 where
Mm.
Jasper Visser would be in. So this is I think it's comfortable to say this is our strongest pack given the injuries that we have now.
Yes, yes. Given the injuries that we have, and I mean, you're looking at it, there's consistency there. Luat Van Staden, I think he got like back-to-back games, and he's also his performance also improved, and I think you should see him carry on there. And you can't ignore the difference that the Luat Diaga makes in the line out,
Yeah,
and we saw his impact there, and how he came back and is just slotted right in. And yeah, front three expecting. I mean, what more do you want? That should be a solid scrum. And you know what you got to Peter Steph and Siya
yeah,
as well. I think the role for Siya will be interesting, because yeah, we saw it at the Sharks, so maybe yeah, I think they liked what they saw there, but with a different focus now being the breakdown. So yeah, it'll be instead of being in the trams, but
yeah.
maybe if it opens up, you'll see a bit more of him playing there in the trams and being able to link as well. So this is
Yeah.
like you said, considering the injuries, a strong pack.
Yeah, then we look at the back line. Obviously, we said Grant Williams looked like he's taken the number 1 scrum half spot. We've got Manie
No, he's your
there.
nine.
Yeah, Manie, we
He's your
don't
10.
know. Yeah, yeah. Again, you're saying he's your 10. We don't know because now it's kind of a thing
Yeah,
where they're like, no, we
yeah,
don't know who one through three is in terms
yes,
of fly halves. And in this game, you've got
yeah.
Manie, and then on the bench
Mm.
is Willemse. It's been noted that Pollard and Sasha are gonna play next week. We don't know in what
Mm,
order, who's gonna start, who's gonna bench, but
mm,
they've let it be known that it's Manie now. Willems are backing him up. Next week it's Polly's and Sasha. Um,
yeah.
yeah, I will be expecting running. The conditions should be good.
Yes.
The field, world class facilities at
Yeah, no,
Ellis
it is.
Park.
It
And
is.
then we'll expect some running rugby, especially with Manie there. It's just
Yeah.
the centers, they have to do their bit. They have to link. They have to get the ball wide. And then obviously Arons is there on the wing. Edwell's been retained. Colby is
Hmm.
fit. He was cleared to play, but they've decided just to give him another week. So Edwell
Mm,
gets a run out at his old office, and then Fassi obviously
yeah.
on the bench. For me, the most interesting thing about this team is the there's kind of new combinations. The
Mm,
Esterhazen, Creel, even on the bench, the Bongi Vessels and Klabakanye, and it's guys of varying degrees of experience. They've put
yeah.
guys next to each other that have
Yes.
differences in experience. The only thing, and then again, I mean, it's interesting, but at the same time, it's also concerning that combinations take time to build. So hopefully,
Yeah.
like in the centers, they'll look like a pairing. It won't just be,
Yeah.
First time.
Yeah,
They'll look like a pairing. Even, I mean, connection of the back three with Arendse, Edwell, and Fassi. You want them to be all working in tandem. So it's just combinations for me might be the thing that I'm most worried about. But
yeah,
besides that, like you said, strong pack, they should have a
yeah,
go. And I mean, against Australia, we tend to have some fun, man. Guys are even doing the
yeah,
double. Remember the double line out where they did a line out passing
yeah,
to another line out? Then we're doing this season, we're doing line outs in the middle of the field. So I'm expecting to see trick plays. I'm expecting to see them not really take Australia that seriously. And because you're not gonna do those things when it's tight and when it's tough.
yeah.
Well, I don't think so. I'm expecting them to roll out the tricks. I'm expecting
Yeah,
them
the
to a
innovation.
bit of razzle dazzle.
We're gonna see the innovation.
Yeah,
But I think yes. But I think in saying that, quotas, I think they do take them seriously enough to say we want to try this against this type of opposition. You know what I'm saying? Because the Australia, for me, yes, they've seemingly improved during the Lions series, but I think just from a Springbok perspective, it's we're in a luxurious position here where
mm,
we can do these sorts of things, and put these different combinations. And I mean, we did mention it about when we spoke about it, I think a few episodes ago that we sort of last week actually that we'll see a sort of similar what we're seeing now in terms of how
yeah.
they're going to put the team together, with the like you say the varying degrees of experience. So I think yeah, yes, they'll take them seriously enough to say we want to try this against you, not just
Against
it's
Georgia and
a
Barbarians
against
and the
Georgia.
likes.
Yeah, because then if they can do, because I mean you saw them, they did the move in that in the against England, for example. So
Mm.
they will do it. They'll do the things that they need to do, and it's serious, quarters. I say it no, it's serious. And
I
you're going
don't
to
think
see a
again.
serious performance here.
Again, you've actually reminded me of the Lions series because I mean that thing it
Yeah,
wasn't memorable. I even forgot about it. So that's
yeah,
another issue of concern is that they've obviously had a tougher hit out and they'll be
yes,
more conditioned to play test
yeah,
rugby. Whereas with us,
mm,
you're playing tier two nations and barely tier one nations. So respectfully or disrespectfully, that might be. But yeah, I think we'll have a go. We'll see. I think we'll see a decent victory, a good victory. I don't think at the end of the day we'll have too much to complain about at the end of the day. I don't think,
yeah,
especially given the
yeah,
side that they've selected.
yeah. I think I agree with you. Yeah, quarters. And this team, I think, yeah, it's primed to do the job. That's why I say it's serious business, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's serious because even Kabaganye, he's at his office. He's going to want
Mm.
to also do well. Yannick Vessels as well. It's opportunity. Most that yes, I've even said that yeah, the countdown has begun, but you want to also
Yeah.
show that he's still in there and you know what you get with Kwacha, Reina, the squad man, and he's had success against Australia. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like he's that guy, Moody. It'll be interesting to see, where he's going to come on. But
Mm.
definitely, I think it will probably be 13.
At center. Yeah.
Yeah. So hey, look, the box to do the job, man.
Anyway, moving on to Currie Cup.
Hmm.
I don't know where should we start. I think let's start with the last game because this round was I got
I
some right, I got some wrong. I predicted Western Province, I predicted Cheetahs, but I didn't predict my own downfall. I didn't see the Lions losing, and I didn't see Northern Transvaal losing as well. So
yeah,
I
look,
think
eh?
yeah, I think let's start with the Lions. First of all, shout out the brass band, the atmosphere.
Mm, mm,
It's
mm.
it's If you have a chance, go down to the stadiums, picturesque, the mountains in the background, the
Yeah.
vibes, the
Mm.
supporters, especially on a Sunday. And yeah, like you've been saying, the Bowling Cavaliers.
The Boland Cavaliers, Chorus. This is a serious team. We said they well coached. You can see they're well drilled, and
Mm,
there's maturity in this team because there's a lot of guys that have played Currie Cup. That have
yeah.
so, and there's also then now that togetherness, and then you add in, the brass band, the
Mm,
picturesque scenery there. You see it in the way that the defense. Yeah, early on in terms of from a scrum perspective, I think that first scrum penalty, not good for them, but how they managed the game, and
mm,
because it was really one of those where the Lions just didn't they couldn't land that punch, and build that momentum because Cavaliers were contesting everything, breakdown,
yeah.
and and they were making sure that they were staying in that fight, and it showed even with their defense and how with their opportunities, the purpose in what they were trying to do,
Yeah.
and being able to have those guys that a guy like James Taylor breaking the game, it's maybe you're not expecting that, but it happens,
Yeah.
and yeah, look, I'm here for it. Unfortunately, Koda's it was your downfall, but the Boland Cavaliers. I love it. I love it for SA Rugby and for just for that region. It's good to
Yeah.
see, and it's yeah, man.
Yeah, I agree with you. What was most difficult for the Lions was the fact that, like you said, they're well coached, they're well drilled, especially in defense for me, and especially those areas that you're talking about in terms of contesting. In the lineouts, they
Mm.
were just throwing up the first jumper there. He was even out of their hands. It was like cheerleading where you just throw someone in the air. They were just throwing that guy in the air, and apparently he's a policeman.
Yeah, yeah. I,
just throwing a policeman in the air there to contest. So it was at areas like that where they contested. And for me, also the defense, they have very good line speed and
yes,
they're making the tackles. It's no use
the
like the
hits.
Sharks are rushing, but then they're just rushing for rushing sake. They're not doing it
Yeah,
with intent. They're not doing it with purpose. These guys are rushing,
yeah,
closing players down, and making the tackles, and then competing on the ground.
yeah. And for me that's their formula, especially without the ball, because with the ball they can definitely hurt you,
Yeah,
and for them it's just about without the ball, and that's where you see that no, that's what I say, they're a serious team, and you just we spoke about it last week. You said those they can just get from a set piece perspective, get that little bit
yeah.
better, that and you can see that improvement
And
there.
they
And
have, I mean, even due to
yeah,
the Lions' mistakes, the Lions had two scrums of their own where they just didn't
mm,
hook the ball.
yeah,
So to me,
pressure,
that's yeah, and they did enough to just stay in it. They did enough
yeah,
to they did enough to force a mistake. They did enough to
mm,
fine. They didn't scrum all over them. They didn't push them over, but they did enough to put pressure on
they
players
were
that are not
there.
necessarily as experienced as they are. And you
Yeah, they
see,
let them know that they were there.
yeah. So for me, even when it comes to an attacking perspective from the Lions, Dobela
Mm,
was rotated or dropped, or I'm not too sure the situation. I think he was rotated. They brought in
mm,
Volita. Volita, we know, good player, but stop, start, stop, start. The
yeah,
the it was too difficult to solve. What was coming at him
yeah,
was too difficult to solve. Even Reynard Jonker, when it's easy, and he looks like a
yes,
world class player. He's the best playmaker in the world when the defense doesn't give him time. But when the defense is rushing him like this, and the thing is harder to solve, all of a sudden you see him like standing deeper, passing the
yeah,
ball when before maybe he tried and do something, and it's like you can't back down from those kinds of challenges, and you need to solve
mm,
it. Fine, they did solve it at points where Nick Stein, he was like trying to up the tempo, and then later
yeah,
on the game where Renzo Duplessis had his offload and whatever. So they did solve it, but they didn't solve it enough. They didn't do
yeah,
enough. And against a team
mm,
where they were doing more than enough because even at the end, they're like, no, we're not even finished eating. We want more.
Yes.
And they went for
Yeah.
the bonus points.
They were like, no, no, we're not leaving anything on the table.
Yeah.
We're not leaving anything on the
Too greedy, but in a good way, in a good way, in a good way. So I
table.
mean, and it's also like you said, the thing of being a team. I think we're seeing in this competition the benefit of the smaller unions being together for longer and being a
Yes.
cohesive team because
Mm.
you're seeing guys and combinations that not necessarily been together too long. They haven't had that kind of a run together versus teams that have. You know, Boland,
Yeah.
these guys have been together longer. It's the same thing with the Pumas against the Bulls. Bulls completely disintegrated, especially once they put their subs on.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, that's also the benefit that's coming from these smaller unions.
Yeah, and it's good to see, like honestly, because you want the Currie Cup to be like
Yeah.
this. You want Boland, you want your Griquas, your Pumas, you want them to be getting the results. Unlike back then when it was just one way traffic, really, where
Yeah.
it was how can I say it was a upset. Now there's no real upsets. It's I think yeah, look, I couldn't have said it better myself, because you're seeing that benefit. These guys play. I
Yeah.
think they played SA Cup together, so and I think they're more clearer in terms of what they want to do and who are their best guys, for
Yeah, and
for
you've
for their
got,
objectives. And
like you say,
yeah,
the coaching, and you've got Luis Schroeder there. I mean, I don't necessarily rate him, but he made Bok level. So I mean, the
yeah,
IP is rubbing off there, and you've got guys learning, you've got guys
mm.
executing. So I mean, they will roll on. They will roll on.
They
Um,
will.
moving on to the Sharks. I think let's go your boys
Hey,
next at
yeah, let's
the
go
Sugar
there.
Ray Kulu Stadium in Claremont. I don't think it was
There's
a.
no
I
sugar.
mean, it's
There's
yeah,
no
it's
sugar.
it's nice to take the game to the
Yes,
community, but this was the
definitely.
total wrong time for this team. You know,
There was no sugar, man.
they're doing badly, and then to take them away from the home stadium, yeah, it wasn't it for them. There was more experience in the team. The
Mm.
Pencle, Paulus, Portkita, they sprinkled them in. Moyo started, but ultimately, I feel like the Sharks, they looked better, but it's
Yes.
still not good. And
Yeah,
the Cheetahs also, for them not
they're terrible.
to extend their lead, for them not to put together more. They were putting together more opportunities, but to not finish in any
To
kind of
not
way.
execute. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like also the thing that I'll say is that now you're looking at the Sharks defense, and all of a sudden they can execute where the wing is cutting off at 13, and it's because
Mm.
Penkler is there. You know, an
Yeah.
experienced player is executing this thing. So it just shows that what they were trying to implement, it's only
Mm.
a senior player can implement it, but whoever was there before him, you know, you're
Yeah.
talking about like when Yako Williams was on the wing. So
Yeah.
Bartley also he has his moments where he's not
Moments.
executing it the right way. So you can see it's you're trying to do things that experienced players can do with
Yeah.
inexperienced players.
Mm. Yeah. Basically, it's a thing of, yeah, this is the system. You need to get with it. And for me, it's like you need to be sure that the guys can get with it,
Yeah,
because if you're seeing the experienced guy come in and, show how it's done, then the issue is also you have to bite the bullet and decide, you have to have that balance in selection.
yeah,
You saw it, yes, this past weekend it was better. It did look better. I think better fight from the Sharks as well. And you're right, it would have been interesting to see them at Kings Park, you
yeah,
know, perhaps maybe a different energy, different vibe, different result, but because the Cheetahs were so poor in their execution, the Sharks stayed in the game, kept them in the game, and
yeah,
eventually the Sharks got a try, which made it look better, for them. But let's not kid ourselves. It's like you say, they not, even Province are in a better, from I think from a maturity perspective, in their pack and their
yeah.
structure. Yeah, they slightly better. than what the Sharks are. And yeah, it's still a long road ahead. It really is still a long road ahead for the Sharks, unless, like we said, you get a sprinkling of these experienced guys that have been there. But yeah, I, you
Yeah,
just it's tough, man. It's
it was
tough.
just it was just a scrappy back and forth.
It was a hard watch.
Yeah, hard
Hard watch.
watch. Moyo, he was just okay, but I maintain that
Yeah,
he was still better than Smith. But even him, he didn't have, dropping a ball cold. There were
yeah.
moments where, you want to see more from him, but I mean, it's his first outing. He'll learn and he'll grow, but it's just not looking good there, man.
It isn't, Yeah, look, the thing is, you can't question the effort. You can see the effort, and even with the guys coming off the bench, you can see the effort is there, but it's just not working out.
Yeah.
And it's difficult, really, you know, at the moment to see how they're going to climb out of this. But we keep the hopes and the fins alive, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, difficult one, difficult campaign. But let's go Bulls Pumas. Yeah, this one first half wasn't really much. Again, in terms of a watch, Bulls had a few handling errors. They kind
Yeah.
of linked up once or twice, and then you had that maul try from the Pumas. But you're looking at 7-10 at halftime, and
Mm.
then second half, Pumas just run away with the
Boom,
game.
boom, just like that. I think the Bulls' wastefulness and their lack of execution as well, similar to the Cheetahs, it cost them. Because in the beginning, it's almost like, yeah, the Bulls were in the ascendancy. They had that, what looked like the control, or they had the
Yeah,
hammer in their hand and they could break the wall, and they just couldn't. And like second off, Pumas just took over. It's
yeah,
effectively they just took over, and it just seems like the Bulls player didn't work because they had some good experienced guys starting the game. It just looked like a settled
yeah,
team, and then obviously we saw in the second half when they brought on the youngsters. By then they were already too exposed. So I think the big question is going to be on those guys. Your John Rudolphs, and the big concern is about the accuracy, the lack of execution. You at
yeah.
home, you've where's the consistency? And I think that's really where the Bulls will be very, very upset with themselves. I don't think they'll be too happy with that, because they had, I think, plenty of opportunities there in that first half to really put themselves in a position. Pumas were always going to fight back, but you thought, you expected better from a Bulls team, especially how they started the Currie Cup, and were giving them reps to say, no, these ones,
Yeah.
they're looking like the business, and all of a sudden now they say, no, you guys are mistaken. They say, no, hold that thought. Hold
Yeah,
that
but I,
thought.
I I think yeah, I think that actually it this is the first time they've had a pack stand up to them and not let them bully them. So I think
Yeah.
it's nice to be imposing on teams and muscle teams about. You saw them doing it against Western Province. You saw how easy it was. But then now you have a
Mm.
team like this that comes up where you've got seasoned guys,
Yeah.
professionals, Engelbrett that
Yes.
was at the Stormers. You've got guys that these are
Yeah.
real players and these are
Yeah.
they've got
They're
that
tough.
they've got that
They're
toughness
tough.
up
They've got
front.
a tough
So
coach. So they also,
yeah.
you must know.
And my thing is
They've
it's
got,
it's like
you know,
even when you look, they've got big time players. Ross Brody, game breaker.
yeah.
Game
Yeah.
breaker. You saw that snipe round blind, and then you saw that
Mm.
quick tap go over. Game breaker. You
Yeah.
saw vital moments, Klamlashe getting turnovers. And again, it's that
Yeah.
value of being a
Stefan
team.
Coetzee as well, I
Yeah,
think, in
Kutsia
the
as
back
well.
line.
Kutsia
Mm.
last season was looking like a player that should be signed by a bigger union.
Yeah.
Now he's back in the starting lineup, and you can see he's had two big breaks in this game. And for
Mm.
me, also, again, it's the value of the team being together. What it looked
Yes.
like was like, when you know a song, now you must sing
Yeah.
the song. It's like they were both sitting next to each other singing the song, and then This one they only know like the first half, and then they're forgetting the words. They
Yeah,
don't. They're kind of looking at each other like, "What do we say next? What do we do next?" Because
yeah,
by the end, they were chasing shadows. There was a set piece from
yeah,
the Pumas where they just went one way and then they brought it the other way, and you're seeing players tackling the guy that's already passed the ball. They're chasing shadows
mm,
at that point where it's like
yeah,
they're looking around and they don't know the words.
yeah,
They don't know. So at some stage the cohesiveness is showing in terms of the Pumas, where it's like we know all the words, we know what's coming, we know the
yeah,
chorus, we know it's
yeah,
fine, we can sing, but you guys
yeah,
looking around at each other, and that's when, like you said, the leaders need to stand up and be the ones to bring everyone together.
yeah, man, and that's really it. Because I mean, if you look at it, it's the starting team. The starting pack. Let's look at that.
Yeah,
This is almost virtually the same pack that started the
yeah,
campaign. And but then you also look at the Pumas guys. These are also these are people's fathers. Yeah, they're not they're not kids. Where they
yeah,
fresh off the block. So it was always going to be a contest there. And for me, I still go back to the wastefulness of the Bulls because I just couldn't believe it. That so many mistakes. That
mm,
they were making, and obviously a team like the Pumas, you give them that little sniff, and they will execute like you say. It was their chance to sing, and they were like, okay, this is how it's done, and they completely took over. Because yeah, yeah, that's it was really unbelievable. How they imploded the Bulls. It was really, I couldn't believe it. Honestly, it shocking. It was.
yeah,
Look at how especially how they started the campaign.
yeah,
We're not talking about the Sharks here where we know what you got. Yeah, we were shown diamonds. Now we're getting silver, and so like, come on, But they'll be angry. They should do better. I think they will. Pumas
yeah,
are also they starting to look sharp.
yeah. It's
But
starting to
again,
look on a roll.
it's with all these teams, it's going to be about the consistency, in backing up the performances.
Yeah, let's move on. Griquas versus
Hmm.
Province. Playing while we were all at work, so we were all watching on our phones at work.
Yeah. Hey.
Yeah, not much for me to say in terms of this one. Goshen Weah again, moment of magic, cross kick to Mart. Mart again, his moment of
Yeah.
magic, and the combination of the back three continues to play. Uh, Whitehead as well at fly half. That
Whitehead,
guy,
mature.
he's just he's been there how long? He's a permanent fixture. And for
Mm.
me, it was too easy for the Griquas to build phases. What you were seeing was like they'd have a set piece, take one phase. Guys are tackling from province and then stepping back, tackling, stepping back, and falling back in the line. You're not challenging the breakdown.
Yeah.
So then these guys are just building phases, and it's too easy for
Mm.
them to build phases. And then eventually they
Yeah,
score,
because
and then you stand
yeah.
and you're like, who's doing what? Why are they scoring? It's because you're
Mm.
backing off, and they're not going to fumble the ball. They'll just continue play phases, do whatever they want, and that's what kept on happening.
Yeah.
The other thing is Western Province kept on trying to run from their own half 22, and it really there's again they look like there was some kind of maturity from the fly half in terms of direction, but ultimately it's just like let's just try things. It looks like it wasn't
Yeah.
cohesive.
Mm.
It wasn't anything. To me it's you're not defending at a high level. You're not attacking at a high level. You look at the tries that they scored. It's scrappy. It's not like it's from. You look at into Benny's dot down. It's
That thought down.
yeah. You're not really putting anything. You're not putting much together. And when you do put something together, Gershon Weah comes and shuts it down. You saw
Yeah.
that try saver there. So I mean, Province. It was, and the thing, it was predictable. I knew they were going to lose. I think we
Yeah.
all knew they were going to lose.
And I think interestingly is what's 3 years in a row now. Griquas have
Yeah,
so Griquas have definitely got their number. And I think for me it's like I think with Western Province they don't have the right combinations because you see when the certain guys come on, you can see there's certain levels and it's like
yeah,
okay, they need to figure out who their best guys are. and try
Yes,
to
yes,
work off there, because yeah, right now they're in danger of slipping into Sharks territory, if they continue in this fashion. I mean, they're keeping each other company at the bottom of the log, but yeah, it does, yeah, nothing. Griquas, one thing I will say, they use their possession and territory, they used it well,
yeah,
and they took their opportunities, they made sure, and they were at home as well, and
yeah,
yeah, there was a good atmosphere as well there, so yeah, what more do you expect? Again, it's almost the same thing with all these with Griquas, Pumas, Boland. They've been together, barring the Cheetahs where they just seem like they got other issues going on. But you know,
yeah.
this is the value of them playing together for an extended period.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say with them is they get caught out a bit on defense, Griquas, but
Yeah,
sometimes the one tried was a bit too easy, where it's just set piece, hit, midfield wide open. So that's the only
yeah.
thing I'll say for them. But moving on, the Griquas, they're facing the Sharks this
Hey,
weekend.
hey,
Yeah, and the Sharks are actually coming down to play the
yeah, they're going
Griquas.
to Bola, they're going to Griqualand. I mean, yeah, hey,
Yeah.
that's why I'm saying, hey, it's going to be tough, eh? It's going to be tough.
Yeah, we've got the Pumas hosting the Lions. Lions again, another tough one. One team coming off a win, one
Yeah,
a loss. Uh, Cheetahs hosting Province. The two, yeah, the two
I,
two hopeless teams in the competition. And then we've got
I,
Boland hosting the Bulls. You'll see Boland if they can do it at home
alala,
again on a Sunday. Apparently
alala, the
they hold
bowling
mass at the
Cavaliers.
stadium. Apparently they hold
Uh,
mass at the stadium before the game.
oh,
So I
yeah,
mean, who can?
yeah. You know, it's God's new team. This is a team, bro.
He's
This is a
forsaken the
serious team.
Sharks. He's forsaken the Sharks. And if you look at the table
Yes.
there, the
He's spreading
table
his blessings to others. Huh?
the table there is looking Pumas on top, but I mean it's Pumas, Cheetahs, Boland all on 11 points. Then you've
Uh,
got Bulls, Lions, Griquas 10 points. It's close. And then the two hopeless teams, Sharks and Western Province.
Shucks. Hey, at least we got one, hey? But it's not good, eh? It's not good. Not
Any
good.
closing remarks, Chris?
Look, hey, it's Bok weekend, so yeah, let's see Bok out and the bowling Cavaliers on Sunday. So hey, it's gonna be a good weekend. It's gonna be a good one.
Good weekend for rugby. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, guys. Yeah,
We out.
Australia, we're not taking you seriously. I'm sorry. We're not
I